Bay battling back on the inside. It's Brave Contender lifting under the vigour of Parnham though, and he'll just win.
Outside as well as Fighting Faith, but Courting Verity broke clear near the line, and Courting Verity defends tactical.
From the back, but it's Fake Love with 100 metres to go. Hands and heels well clear. This is a beautiful debut. It's Fake Love easily.
Now it's Pelter in front of Prime Star, the outside. Pelter in front from Prime Star, Jet Propulsion, and Pelter sees it out.
Please be advised that the following presentation may offend or upset some viewers, breeders, corporate bookies, stewards, racing participants, jockeys, trainers, media, and non-bettors. Nothing on this show should be taken seriously other than the betting advice provided. This message was approved by MailBag.com.au. By viewing this show, you lose all rights to complain. And also, Cam Dean, welcome to the Mailbag Live. It's AFL preliminary final and Brownlow medal weekend.
Thank you, Pete. It is a good weekend of footy too, isn't it? You got the Friday night cracking game with Richmond, and then you got the Richmond Port, then Saturday night Geelong Brisbane, and then you can just sit back on Sunday night and go for the triple with the Brownlow. I quite like it. I'm not sure that it will be as popular for punters as it has been being on the Monday night, because I think normally people sort of go to work and sit back and as a distraction from work, they do a lot of research and sort of turnover's really good. But I don't know whether many surprised when I mentioned that to them today. So
Williams or the Brownlow? Just sort of 10 times the Brownlow, and even if you launch these two prelims combined?
Yeah, I'd say I'm more excited about the Brownlow. And it's a one-off event, and it's unique. Like it's like you're betting on something that's already occurred. Nothing else. You're never betting on a horse race that's already occurred. Like this has already happened. You're just trying to now assess how the umpires have assessed it, and trying to be best at that. And if you do the work during the year, generally, hopefully, it pays off.
So how much work does it take per game? Like how much time are you spending per game or per round investigating what you think will be the selections for the Brownlow medal?
Well, there's different ways to do it. Like, so you can do the observational method where you watch every single game and then you assess it. But then there's also guys that do stats models, and it's purely on stats. And then there's sort of other models that combine a bit of both together. And I think the best way to do it is do an observational model, but also taking into consideration what other people have, how they've assessed it. So you look at how the coaches have voted, you look at the Herald Sun, you look at the age, you look at Supercoach points, and then you do all that, discount ruckman a little bit, discount forwards a little bit, because it's a midfielder's medal, and then sort of put it all in the pot and go, okay, this is where I think. So you can't be stubborn and say, no, I think he was best on ground. You've got to go, who are they actually going to give best on ground to?
Yeah, that makes sense. In terms of the market this year, have you noticed much of a difference in terms of, the edge or the amount of fat this year versus previous years?
Well, this is the fourth year the fourth year in the last 5 years where there's been a really short price favourite.
Yep.
And when that occurred previous years, I don't think they shortened up as quickly. So you had Mitchell, Dangerfield and Dusty all were short, but Neil went short, but he went short earlier. So I think it was probably punters were onto that more. In previous years, people always said, he'll lose form, or he'll get suspended, so the bookies never went quite as short, but this year they really shortened up quite quickly, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, like it. How much credence do you give to players who, I guess the media perception going into that year's Brownlow should poll well, and
Yeah, I love that. That's a great angle.
It's interesting, like pollers and the same issue. I think everyone's almost assessed him too highly, and I think it might be an angle to go under on 5. And then there's some under pollers that like sometimes like forwards and ruckman never poll very well, but then every now and again there's one that may go well. Like Buddy was always a good forward that still polled. Like a ruckman this year, I still think Goldstein might go okay. Not like to win it, but in some sort of things because he played almost 100% of game time. So there's a few unique things this year. And then another one I'm looking at this year. So like I don't know whether you remember a few years ago, Brayshaw went really, really well in the Brownlow and no one saw it.
Yep.
Like unheard of. Wore a helmet. So this year I'm thinking, well, Caleb Daniel got a helmet, small, stands out. Like he hasn't had a great year, but I don't know whether he can win the dogs, but I'm looking for angles for him to be in some groups or head-to-heads and those sorts of things.
When we stop being serious, just come to me, Pistol. I've got a few angles I want to ask Cam about, but I don't want to interrupt because this is great stuff.
I've got nothing. Go for it.
I want to know. So when we're betting the Brownlow, we try and knock off like the Neil example or whoever, like early in the year. But now you're like headed towards the weekend, and it's obviously more exciting than actual football for you. You're looking at picking apart all the little markets that everyone's offering.
Yeah. So tomorrow for Brownlow and some head-to-head games, and then some groups and some other outrights that exotic type outrights as well. So probably won't even be tipping anything in the outright, for example. So you'll be cheering all things out wide.
And once you've like each year, do you just have a deep-seated hatred of the tiny little fluoro men?
No, actually, like how can I? Because Brownlow's been my best event of my lifetime, so I can't have that deep-seated hatred because they've done the right thing. There's a few players that I've had a deep-seated hatred that cost me a lot of money, like that, because they polled well when I didn't think they would, or I don't think they're a good player, but they still polled well and killed me, like Dyson Heppel or someone like that, but not so much the little men.
Okay.
I just wanted to touch on you said about the the helmet and Angus Brayshaw. It just took me back to 2000 when the great Shane Woden with his long tips strutting around the centre half forward line for the mighty Demons.
Yeah, that's a great the blonde tips. Like I wasn't in betting back then. I wish I had been, because it would have been interesting to see whether you'd found him, like whether or not, because he was a big price, I know. But they have done a study. I saw this guy from Swinburne University, and he did a study on how players poll with different attributes: brown hair, black hair, bald, helmet, so on. And they found bald hair and blonde, long hair and helmets, they overpoll. It's actually, there's something in it. So
Dyson Heppel you touched on earlier.
Yep.
I think, what about find out who the bloke is that is at a lot of dead ball situations and then gets the ball, when the umpy wants my ball, always turn your back to the umpy so he sees your number. I reckon that would have an impact as well. I used to try and run that a bit when I was running around the twos. It sticks in their head, doesn't it? If you start these lovely with all these tattoos every year, you're going to continue.
Like the stoppage and go, I can't believe I don't know why you tolerate that. Not fair.
Voting. So when they get together after the game, they get the emergency umpire in there and he votes. He helps them because he's looking at the scoreboard and watching things and helps them poll. Yeah, so I thought if you get two guys just sitting behind the emergency umpire, just cheering one player all day, just saying, "Oh, this bloke has been enormous all day," just repetitively, just get into the umpire's head. Yeah, and he goes in there. And he's going to.
Or you just knew him. You just knew him, and you ring knackers after the game. What? Geez, good game. What did you think of it? Geez, Dusty was good again, wasn't he? Yeah, he's pretty good. Dusty. Cotton was all right. Yep, sweet.
So you're halfway through the season, you want to find the guy you like, and you just start going to his games, sit behind the umpires, and away you go.
That Oliver could orange hair looker.
Funny because I actually did say during the year that that's a Brownlow hairstyle to a couple of mates. He really did get that that Larry haircut. But the other thing I do like, though, the way Petrarca plays is quite noticeable. Like he bursts out of packs, pushes players off, he runs and bounces and he kicks goals. So I don't think he's not noticeable. So I think, Oliver might go right, but I do quite like Petrarca's polling chances.
Excellent.
Okay, we've got 2 finals. Port playing Richmond Friday night, 7:50 Eastern Standard Time, and then Brisbane Geelong 7:40 Eastern on Saturday night. Who are you liking? Where are you drawing, I guess, your thoughts from as well? Are you going back to historical measures from earlier in the year when they played once, or how are you going about it?
No, historical a little bit, but not a lot, because also when Richmond played Port, they had heaps of players out earlier in the year. And Geelong overran Brisbane in SCG, so a little bit different venue this time round. I sort of normally base it on my ratings, how I rate teams. And I think the price in the Port-Richmond game looked about right at the start. But Port seemed to be shortening up, so it's one of those ones that I'll probably be patient, and if it gets any further, Richmond might get to value.
Yep.
But on the mailbag, we're on Port and we're on Brisbane outright. So, I'd be just suggesting just hold those positions. And then in the Brisbane Geelong game, I think it's hard for Geelong to play that well 2 weeks in a row. They haven't done it for quite a long time. They sort of play really well and then they're not as good the week after. They look really good and they're at home. So on my strike on Brisbane.
Beautiful work. Really appreciate your time. I can't wait. I can't wait Sunday night more so.
Either can I. It's good to be here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much to Cam Dean for joining the Mailbag live. We're just getting notification that there was some Wi-Fi issues. Hopefully the record is all good. So we'll throw, obviously, the entire show up tomorrow morning, timestamp it so you can jump back on, because there was some pretty good intel there from Cam. Like, it's pretty interesting that he's spending more of his time and getting a lot of cash out of the Brownlow. So I can't wait to see what he's finding for this year. That will be well worth it. He's sending out bets tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
Let's give we're getting a lot of Wishy. Wishy was this is a Wishy update. He was we spoke. Where was that horse we backed a winner at this week, boys? Kyneton, maybe. He rang me after that and I said, cheers, mate, appreciate it. Just fucking cats got fed, blah blah blah. And he was actually going fishing at a lake somewhere in the suburbs where they've just released some trout. With his daughter. Anyway, he was with his daughter at the time. I said, yeah, I want to come on the show this week. I said, sweet, Wish, you're on the show. Done. Rang me the next day. Can't come on the show. I forgot it's my daughter's birthday. So happy birthday to Wishy's daughter, Harriet. And we'll have him on next week. But Father of the Year stuff.
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's go to the big one, shall we? The Group 1 Caulfield Cup. Caulfield, race 9, 2,400. Market will come up first, then the speed map. Dickens, are we spending much time talking about the feature race this weekend?
Which race was it?
Caulfield Cup, mate. The big one.
No idea. Drew, the Prophets, Patchell, our man, has put together a pretty comprehensive piece on all the internationals.
Yep.
If you sign up just go to the mailbag.com.au, just sign up for the email. It doesn't cost you anything. You'll get that tomorrow sometime with the shows and everything else. So you can look through that and have a good read. I think if the rain comes, advantage very elegant. But I'd rather bet at Warrnambool, to be honest, than in the Caulfield Cup.
Okay, interesting. There's a fair amount of rain forecasts, and as we saw last time when Caulfield got hammered by rain, it played pretty much on pace, off rail. It's not a huge sample size, mind you, so it's probably a bit unknown. Speed-wise, you're expecting a mess of a race?
How would you know? Like, Hugh Bowman's... Everyone's telling me this Anthony Van Dyke will roll forward. I don't believe that. Do you, Curly? Do you trust that Hugh Bowman's going to roll forward from 20?
Don't even think it's a horse. Like it's been in back... I did a little bit of digging. It went to Hong Kong, didn't it? And just got touched completely.
So I went back and, dived into, it was the Hong Kong Vase. It was still, I think, technically a 3-year-old at that stage. It's come off a trip to the US, and they basically said it was the end of campaign run, settled outside the leader, and was completely and utterly decimated. It just blew up and stopped. So that was on a brutal tempo. They went really quick in that race. So I must say, there's got to be some concern there. I know he's got and this is some of the information Drew's passed on, is that the time form rating that he's produced last start and then 3 starts ago is good enough to basically figure in what would be a normal race for the Caulfield Cup. But there's been some really brutal years where the internationals haven't figured in the end. If that happens, if there's plenty of speed up front, just going off that Hong Kong run, that didn't necessarily establish much confidence in that runner. And he was second favourite on that day. He jumped $5.40. A horse that was also in that race was True Self, and that ran 7th. So is there a slight concern over this horse's ability, especially if it gets really heavy? Possibly.
Put it this way: the only horse I'll back is probably Very Elegant.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The only horse that I can come into that's just like comfortably would be Very Elegant. Obviously, I don't do a lot of Victorian form, but you like looking at the big races and the good horses, and like I just think it's I shouldn't say bomb proof, or like it just makes sense to back that horse. Less convictions, like it at the trip. Any rain helps, like you said earlier. Just ticks more boxes. And
I think like the barrier 10 is a really good result. That if the rain does come, the speed map's gone off our screen. Let me just look at my own one. It's the same one. Mirage Dancer, they're going to sort of 10 mils now.
Yeah.
If Master of Wine wins, I'd be shocked. Just hasn't done it, but it's always there. Chapada, I'd be interested in if the track was firm, like it was last. Beautiful ride and run last week. Saturday, only for the first half of the races all day, which is fucking enormous.
Huge.
If Warning rolled forward and sat outside lead, I would invest. It did that in the Derby and killed him, and that was that softy sort of ground. Pete, remember we were there.
Yeah.
If they go back from that wide draw, I don't want to know it.
Yeah. It's probably not much more to say other than that, isn't it?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Pray for a .com coverage.
Oh, your millions to see every horse parade.
Yeah.
Millions.
But we still might get a chance at some of the ones that we haven't seen before. I think that's probably the key thing.
Glenn Boss on YouTube. That'll be asked next week. Bossy.
Oh, right. I got it. Okay. You have to read it out just in case people aren't watching on YouTube, Dickens. You have to actually read out what the statement was.
There's strong mail going around that Walshy is the current 1,500 metre walk Warrnambool College record holder still. And every year that they run the Warrnambool College 1,500 metre walk, just like say they run it on a Sunday or Saturday, he rings up on the Monday and just confirms he's still got the time. It sounds like something he'd do. Would you have competed in the 1,500 metre walk, Curls, at Warrnambool?
No. I would have been too embarrassed. I'd rather run last in the 200 metre dash. But tell the girls I've got to go, girls. I've got to go and compete in the 1,500 metre walk.
With my bleach tips.
Grow up, Walshy.
Bloody outstanding. All right, shall we move on to race 8 then? The Moonga over 1,400. I'll bring up the market, the speed map. Yes, hopefully this market's correct. Anthony Van Dyke is not $26. The service department's working on it, which is me struggling to read at the best of times. Dickens, race 8. What are your thoughts? We'll show the replay of the Paris Lane Stakes, which featured Best of Days, Munitions, Gulwar, and Be Good to Your Mother. We'll do that after the speed map has been up. What are you thinking here for race 8?
Best of Days was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
Is that why it's like $11 into $5.50?
Oh, what?
There's still plenty of time, and let's face it, it may not necessarily be a meeting where you want to be launching into early, especially if that rain does hit or if there's any concern.
How sick are they? How sick are they?
What, the snipers?
Yep.
When I did the prices, it was $9.
Yep.
I thought that was great shopping. I think Windstorm's overs. That's really giving me the shits.
This time last week I said, oh, it can't win because it's got Pikey. Sorry, Pikey, but you're welcome for me getting you back into form.
I think Windstorm is like the on top selection from Best of Days, and I think 50 Stars is a bet.
Okay. What are you doing with the horse like Wild Planet who's coming down from Sydney? Wasn't suited in the Epsom.
Too short.
Yep.
Barrier 1. I just thought it was too short. Streets of Avalon, Be Good to Your Mother. These are like secondary options for them. The Inevitable to 400 is a bit of a positive for it. Barrier 5 is a positive. The wetter the better, 50 Stars. I'd want to do a bit more deep diving into Windstorm. It's very hard for us to preview this meeting with any confidence or any sort of accountability when it's hot and sunny outside right now, but they're predicting 10 mils to 20 mils on the day. If that rain come, I'd be more confident to just have a smaller bet at 50 Stars. But I think Windstorm, Best of Days, and 50 Stars are the plays. Best of Days is drawn barrier 11. $5 is about right. Like, it's pretty tight there. I wouldn't sort of be too keen to get involved now. At $9, I was very keen. That's how I see that race.
Isn't Windstorm going to be too far back and potentially cast here?
No, well, you've got Streets of Avalon, Be Good to Your Mother. That's a good tempo. More Vardas, some speed. Morrissey, some speed. Pacadali when it wants to. The Inevitable when it wants to. They've all got a good amount of speed. If Declan Bates goes slowly on Be Good to Your Mother, I'm not shocked, but I'll be disappointed for the connections. The horse needs to roll very, very fast.
All right. So in terms of what did you find appealing about Best of Days? Like, what was about the last start that really put the writing on the wall for you?
I don't think it was suited. It was soft in betting. It looked like it was a bit pudgy to me, and it got through its work beautifully. You just wanted to back it next start. If it drew barrier 5, I'd be keener at the sort of $5. J-Car's flying, yes, but she still needs to work a bit of magic from barrier 11, and it hasn't won for a fair while.
I was going to say, when was the last time it won a race?
I don't know, but I know it's a long time.
I'm still Kennedy Mile 2018, 2 years ago.
I thought, like, 50 Stars was really odd first up where they placed it. If you remember, it was a 1,200 meter race down the straight at Flemington.
Yep.
And you just kind of penned it, marked it millions. But it got through the line like beautifully off a good, honest early tempo. Like, it's 2 from 2 on the heavy. It's 4 from 8 on a soft. This horse. It's won 3 times over 400 meters. It's not won at Caulfield over 400 meters, but it's 7 from 3 at the trip. I'm sort of the other thing to reference what I'm saying is when I've prepared to speak on our show, the price that they put up, the corporates, the plastics, was $13 50 Stars and $9 Best of Days. So when they're about the same price, I think Best of Days is a more responsible way to wager. Right now, I can get $26 50 Stars.
Yep.
I've just talked myself into 50 Stars and probably some of you too. And this is live, so I need to try and do something about that.
All right. Curls, let's head up towards you. How's the week been treating you? What are we looking at this weekend up in there in Doomben land?
We're betting at Gatton tomorrow, first of all. Be remiss of me not to add that in. There's 9 races at Gatton tomorrow. I like the meeting.
Oh.
Going to get on track. Looking forward. Stay tuned for another ranting video of me going ballistic on my way home. I'm glad there was no videos of me last Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't in a good state by the end of the day. Anyway, we won't go there just yet. Do you want to go straight to Doom? And hey, I suppose I'd like to kick it off early.
Yep.
I'm going to start making a few bold predictions. Every time I pot a jockey, they seem to get into form. I think I said something about Willie Pike last week. Anyway, this week we'll go to Doomben race 1. Work with me here, pistol to work out. We're going to have a look at the prices. Sugar Boom's $1.90.
Yep.
Sort of like
Georgie Cartwright. My girl. We're going to start a very fruitful relationship on Saturday. And Okay.
It's going to be Sugar Boom.
Are you seeing Glenn Boss's comments? The review ones? Glenn Boss, if I know you, text me so I know who you are.
No. Anyway, where was I? Sugar Boom. I've got the trial here to look at for us. First of all, the speed map, sorry. So we had about $1.90. I think it leads. I think Knee One will be behind it. Maybe Jagged Edge outside it. The horse is not going as good. Mort Doyle probably gets a sweet run. But look, I think Sugar Boom's like the clear horse to beat here. Got its trial here at Doomben the other day. Like it just went like a Learjet. Georgina Cartwright rode the horse in the trial, which is a positive for her going on. Talking about 1,050 metre flat track, Doomben, firm surface. She should just roll to the top, and like it should just piss in this. Probably can see it starting a bit shorter than $1.90. So like anyone that's watching that wants to sort of hedge a short one, this could be the one that you take. It's got really good gate speed. Like I said, the trial was super. Knee Ones has been blessed in run a couple of its wins, particularly a couple of those 900 metre races at the Gold Coast where it led and walked, strangely enough, really slow tempo. So Mort Doyle's going okay, but I think Sugar Boom will put a gap on these on the corner and should hold them off. And then, all will be right in the world. Josh will respect me again for backing a Georgina Cartwright winner, and everything will be sweet.
Okay, can I play devil's advocate for a second? There's a David Van Dyke horse in the race. If that goes from $8.50, $9 into $4, and Sugar Boom goes $1.90 out to $2.80, $3,
yep,
you're still sticking to your guns?
I'll just double down.
Good.
Yeah. David Van Dyke's. I'm not going to tell you all my reasonings behind things anymore because it makes me sound like a prick. Like. I'm not backing all important because the jockey's on it and that jockey's fucking useless. So rather than go down that track, I'm just going to give you my opinion without all that behind the scenes reasoning because it makes me sound like a flog, which is easy for me to do. Happy to steer clear of the Van Dyke yard until I see a few indicators that suggest they might be back to where they were because I think they've slipped.
You think there's just too many eggs in the alligator blood basket? It's just all about the goiter.
The gator's gone, so I don't care. I seen there's a photo of the gator on a water walker or coming out of the swimming pool, and someone asked Alan, where is he stabled at, Alan? And Alan said, top secret, can't tell you where it's stabled at the moment. Don't want anyone to know. The best thing that could happen for Alligator is someone does get at him so he can return a performance like he did Magic Millions Day, that run. Because that's where he needs to get back to if he's going to be competitive in Sydney and the Golden Seagull. Sure.
What about, speaking of Sydney, very scary tweet from think it was Dave Stanley, who's a very funny man actually on Twitter. It's me, vetted.
Yeah.
Mucus.
What, in your experience, Curls, what is that sort of likely? What's the likely outcome here?
Oh, well, the first thing you think of when they've got some kind of mucus is some kind of infection, one way or another, which would need to be treated with antibiotics. And it's Wednesday, and I don't know the details. I saw the tweet, but yeah, look, it certainly makes it an interesting from a wagering perspective. Like if you had a rational brain, you wouldn't be betting.
What about if you're already on?
I suppose rationally you'd try and hedge your bet a little bit, but depends. There'd be some blokes out there on a huge price, whatever else. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I couldn't recommend anything with any confidence, but I could only say what I would do, and I'd be looking to get something out of it.
Just wait for Rob Scurry. Scurries will be in the yard, and he'll either go, this thing doesn't look as good as what it did the last two starts when he's launched at it,
True.
or it will look just as good.
It's just anxiety though from now on in. Like I'm on it with a mate, and we're also on it into Young Werther. We're on Old Kirk into Young Werther doing the derby. So like if it wins, it's fat, and like the momentum builds towards potentially like an enormous amount of money. And now instead of just pretending it doesn't happen, and then just it's half an hour away. We've got to spend the next 48 hours just hoping it doesn't get scratched. Let alone.
I think the fair might give you an indication before Scurry gets a look at it. Suggestion. Not that you'd use Betfair to bet on Sydney races anyway with those commission rates, but
yeah, a bit of a difference between 0 and 10.
You'd be betting on Betfair all day Saturday, just continually just pumping it into Caulfield.
Yeah, bloody outstanding. All right, Kills, what else is happening up in Queensland? Do you want to throw anything out at Gatton, or are you keeping that in your holster?
Look, go and have a look at the flux in race 1 at Gatton and give you a bit of an indication of what a few of the locals have dived into. This could break me mentally tomorrow. I've dead set got 4 horses, and 2 of them are $40 and 2 of them are $20 that I think are just unload jobs tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm that excited to bet. This could break me tomorrow.
Did you say 2 at?
There's 2 horses there at $40 that I'm going to launch into at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And there's 2 horses at $20 that I want to launch into tomorrow morning. Like this could break me this meeting.
We won't let it.
Wow.
I don't know how everyone else reacts to bad runs, and they just say, oh, it's just the V word, it's just part of the game. You have your peaks and troughs. I just completely fucking punish myself. I've got like the black dog tied to my leg. I'm fucking on the phone to depression. And I've just completely punished myself on the form for Gatton. I've done it fucking inside and out.
Do you think if you do it too much, and change your process, it's not the right thing to do?
Nah, because
you feel better in your head because you've done the work.
Yeah.
I get that.
I'm going to fucking rebound like Dennis Rodman tomorrow.
Good.
Apart from that, nothing going on in Queensland. There's no rorts. There's fuck all stings, or the ones that I'm involved on. All the trainers that you would normally go X trainer on X track, any resemblance of money for them, you just bet. They've fallen off the fucking wagon. It's been a hell of a fucking start to October.
It'll turn though. It'll turn, punters. I can report. Spoke to Curly. I speak to Curly every day. Spoke to him twice this week on his way home from track work. That's how hard he works to find the stings, to find the rorts. That's the effort he puts in. It will turn. It's only been a week, mate.
It'll definitely turn. But what my point is though is that all these different things happening at the same time is quite unusual. So it's definitely been a fun couple of weeks working my way through that. But keen, that's it. It's just another day, another weekend's racing in Queensland. The Toowoomba card looks good enough for Saturday as well. So Brisbane, pretty average sort of card, really, like the regular horses against each other. So I don't think there'll be much fat in those markets. But we'll just see what happens. We'll just take race by race. But yeah, just back onto the track on Friday, and hopefully a winning weekend. But nothing outstanding at this stage.
All right, very good. Shall we head west?
Yes.
All
Great
right.
work yesterday.
What was yesterday? Ascot, yeah.
Something won late in the day.
Yeah, but like if you had checked, someone needs to go over there and just stretch out his pills every morning, I reckon. Because if you checked his sheets, the amount of like opportunities there to just fucking bet. So I'm looking at his sheets and I'm listening to I'm reading what he's saying. I'm just reading between the lines. I backed 2 more winners than he sent because he's found them. He just doesn't want to launch at them at that price.
Well, one I did miss because I was indisposed after one too many black coffees yesterday afternoon. And Outback Jack's gone from $2.10 out to $2.50 on the corporates. I've missed that fluck. Come back in, it's $2.20, and I've just gone, oh, fuck. It's like I've just grayed up now, and then completely killed them anyway. Anyway, don't take shit during race day. Hold in, good. What are we talking about?
Ascot,
the Northerly.
The Northerly.
Yep. The Northerly Stakes, race 8, 1400. It's not weight for age. It's a set weights and penalties race this year, which means that Great Shot, which won a railway stakes, the Group 1 handicap, biggest race in WA, won that 3 years ago. Because it's enough times now passed, it's actually carrying less weight than some of these other horses. It's a bit strange. But anyway, what can you do? That's just the rules, I guess. Massimo currently equal favourite or close to with Red Can Man, Cup Night, KC, Money Matters. There's a heap of angles here and people will be finding things. I'm sure they'll have different opinions. I've marked Massimo a little bit shorter just purely because it gets into a lovely spot. It's just got really strong figures as well. Durant somehow is keeping this horse going. It just seems like it's been running around forever. I think it's actually been running around and winning races longer than we've been in lockdown here in Melbourne. So
that's a long time.
Yeah, if it's not, it's close to. It's probably a week or two apart. It's the one that I could see shortening on the day. A few of these other ones like Red Can Man's drawn sticky, Cup Night, where's it getting to? Back in the field. Not sure how far back you want to get there on Saturday. It's not exactly a roaring southwesterly or anything like that. Free Trade's probably getting out to a big price as well, if you can forgive last start. It was on a soft track, which shouldn't really have been a problem, but it was probably too bad to be true. But one at odds in the field that I'll be having something on is Platoon, drawn barrier 1. I thought the trial was pretty handy from that horse, and it's currently $26, best available. I think that's worth a little speculation in the race, but it's a pretty tricky market to try and pull apart. Certainly KC, I think, looks short enough. The trial I thought was only fair from that horse, and she can trial a little bit funny, but even by her standards, I thought it was pretty iffy. And Money Matters is drawn completely cast, and Peter Hall will have to be at his outstanding best to get that horse in. I think that's probably all I've got at the moment.
Glenn Boss, you're a sick little puppy. Curls. I mean, Pete, you're thinking track's going to race fair, if not favour the inside on Saturday?
Oh, I think it'll be pretty fair. I don't think you want to. It's typical Ascot. You don't want to be too far back unless there's real tempo to suit. But I think you'd be settling forward of midfield, not trying to go too wide in the straight and losing too much momentum. It will pretty much play pretty true, I would say, for the most part. Vital Silver, I've got marked slightly under the current odds. So it is a horse I potentially might save. So that's a good point there from bad, not good, good, not bad. So they're probably the three that I've got marked as overlays: Massimo, Vital Silver, and Platoon. But wouldn't knock anyone for finding anything in this race. It's a cracker.
Overall, Ascot card, how excited are you? Sometimes I can tell that you're just not that interested. You're going to just really play the V. And there's some days I can tell that you're just going to wait till they pitch it outside off and you're just going to launch. What are you doing? Yeah,
there's some really even races. I wouldn't say it's necessarily looking at it at the moment. It's a cracking betting card. Battlestorm, who you'll remember, Dicko, came over here for one run. Wouldn't say it failed. It just didn't place. It jumped pretty short. It's resuming in race 6. up against a few others that have got claims over the 1,000. So that's an interesting race. But again, not sure there's a huge edge there. Race 9, probably similar. Not sure there's a massive edge. Race 7 will be launching. That's the only way I can put it. We'll be launching in race 7.
I'd like to know who Glenn Boss is. He's asking about Rain Bell. I think it's in race. Might be race 2. Yeah, race 2.
You know who Glenn Boss is? He rode with Kylie Diva, won 3 Melbourne Cups.
Yeah, also, I doubt it's actually Bossy.
It will be. It'd be him for sure.
Thoughts on Fabreguino at Caulfield? You just, if that rain comes, you'd have to pen it, surely. I mean, the horse looked like it was slipping at Moonee Valley. She had no control over her own legs almost. They just haven't been able to find a suitable race, suitable conditions for it. So I'd be risking Fabreguino of what we saw at Moonee Valley, that's for sure.
And Bossy, I think Rain BL is, it's a fascinating race 2. Like, I don't think I'll be able to pull the trigger on the horse, but I've marked it shorter than it is. I just like Dean Holland scares the shit out of me on a Saturday at Caulfield, like it's Caulfield Cup day. Kind of like Yosmanite, but it's drawn barrier 1. If this rain comes, that's no good. There's a horse in here. I don't know which one top ahead. Might be, it's 5, 6, or 7. It SP'd about the same as Yosmanite on debut. So, and I backed Scream Dream to beat Rain BL at Kyneton last start. Rain BL killed it, but Scream Dream was a pretty good run all the same. So if it got out to sort of $16, which it well could, might be sort of the way we end up playing the race. Just a really small bet at Scream Dream. But I think of the sort of city class horses, they're pretty exposed. Like Yes Baby Yes is just always been given great rides and not done much.
Yep. Jackson Oldham, welcome.
Jacko!
Thank you.
All right. Which race are we looking at for you, Jacko? It's race 7, isn't it? The Caulfield Sprint, the Group 2 over the 1,000.
That's the one. Interesting race. Obviously, as Pico mentioned earlier, it's hard to preview with too much clarity until we know how the rain comes or what rain comes. We've only sort of had 2 to 3 mil today, and they haven't irrigated. So I was sort of looking early when I was doing the form, and I was looking. It was like 10 mil maybe predicted on race day, but now it's sort of up to 25. So that makes things a little bit different.
Yep.
You know, race 7, I've got the WestIsBest horse Fabreguino leading. If it'll get out of the gates, Alpha Oro, Gun, probably 3 back, Jungle Edge, Graft not too far away either. Look, if the rain didn't come, Fabreguino was going to be a bet for me. Like it speed harder than the market in the Group 1 their last start, and then once they
Jacko,
yeah.
it SP favourite, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it SP'd a little bit longer on the fair. I think it was sort of like equal favourite to second favourite. But like once they'd gone 200 metres, it was like 25 to 1 in play.
And even though Geordie Childs is probably like a C to B grader, he is in form. Rode 2 winners and rode really well on Wednesday. Yep. Also was blessed by the fact that Michael Walker probably got to him there on Irish Flame and decided to wait a little bit longer and just let him get a little bit further ahead before he tried again. Fucking Jesus.
Yeah, and he is an upgrade as well.
It's a big upgrade. Jordan Childs is a massive upgrade from whoever rode it last time. Like this guy rides Caulfield. He rode it on Wednesday. He rode it on Saturday. You know, like he knows how to ride Caulfield.
If the rain misses and we're on a good track, I thought it was well overs. Like its peak performance is over the 1,000. Second up last preparation, like we're about a 13.3 lengths above. That'll be competitive here. I love Alpha Oro as a horse, and I found it, but gee, I can't get it sort of $2. Like if the rain comes and we're on a heavy track, it probably is a $2 chance, but currently I can't get it anywhere near the market price.
But at the same time, like you're known as a bit of a layer. You're not laying it, are you?
No, because we'll probably get the rate and then it's probably right price.
Yeah,
and it's going to get the map as well. Like it probably just lands in behind the West horse Fabreguino.
All right. What about some of the others in the race, Jacko? What are you doing with a horse like Graff first up?
Yeah, well, it was the other one I wanted to touch on, actually. It's probably the horse I could back with the most confidence just on an each-way basis at sort of $12, $13. I thought the jump out was good. A stable change is key. Ollie rode in both jump outs. He's on here. He just gets a good map, probably 1-1, or just won't be too far away. And does have the best peak figure in the race, and that was over 1,000 metres. So I think there's plenty of ticks here, and I thought $13, like right now, is probably the most responsible way to play, sort of on an each way basis.
Yeah, I marked a 9.5. I think this horse is fascinating. Curly, you'd like this too. So this horse was trained by Lees.
Love the horse.
Who are like in tight with Australian bloodstock. Then they bought it, and now they sent Danny O'Brien.
I think Aquis brought this horse to come to Queensland for the Stradbroke handicap from memory. Didn't it?
I don't know.
Pretty. Yeah, I'm certain it did. It ran, anyway.
Yeah, it was. Yep, last start. It ran 10th of 18, beaten 2.5.
That's the one. Aquis brought it for to have a runner in the Stradbroke with that. Maybe they brought it in partnership with Australian Bloodstock. Yeah, I don't know. Like I thought it was gone as a horse. And if Danny O'Brien can get it back, well, huge effort.
Well, he won the Melbourne Cup last year. I've got him winning the Oaks, the Derby, the Cox Plate, and the Melbourne Cup again this year.
90 trainers have won a Melbourne Cup. So what? What does that mean?
He's going to win the Oaks again this year, and probably the Derby.
Yeah, good trainer, no question.
Young Werther wins. There's no mailbag for at least 3 months.
Good.
The Gordon Richards horse,
Gaytrap.
Gardner here is the other one in the market at sort of 460, 480. I marked it sort of $10. I know it had an excuse last start. It pulled up lame, but it SP'd hard in the market. But it was a awful race. Well, it was an average race over in Adelaide, and it's run poorly, so I couldn't have it at the price here.
It's like Bold Star though. Like every now and again, the thing just grows wings.
And it could be here at Caulfield over the 1,000, like as one over the 1,000 at Caulfield before, but obviously in lesser grade than this. But yeah, was the horse sort of in the market I was keen to take on. I thought Alpha, as mentioned, Alpha is probably around right price if the rain comes. If it misses, then it's unders.
What about the other Adelaide horse in Shamino for Stokes and Carr?
Yeah,
I marked at 30s.
I marked the 21s.
Okay.
Like being home the other Adelaide runner last start, but did a SP $9 and Cardinals SP $1.65. So like I just off that I couldn't have it, and probably I thought Maps to be one pair too far back.
Yep. All right, very good. I like it. Do you have any thoughts on the Caulfield Cup?
Misses for Anthony Van Dyke, and I'm probably I'll probably just have the blinkers on. I tried to bin the Turnbull form with a very elegant and co, but I couldn't. I've marked very elegant 450 favourite, so a slight edge on the market.
Mate, you shouldn't be pricing that shit. It's too hard. You're too good at what you do to price the fucking Caulfield Cup. You're not on racer.com. You don't have to. Like, it's just too hard.
Anthony Van Dyke and Chapata. If it doesn't, I'll just leave the race alone and chop a little bit back on Anthony Van Dyke because I'm on at the big price.
Nice. Okay. Do you have another best bet, best play, best lay, anything coming up at the Caulfield meeting?
No, that's all. I've only done races 7 to 10. That's all I've got. I've been looking at Bendigo and Avoca. Bendigo
is the nursery of champions. There's a couple of nice unraced 2-year-olds going around there on Saturday.
No odds up, so I won't give anything away as yet.
Okay, like it. We'll touch on other best value lay bets. Curls, you want to just recap for us if you've got one that you're happy to throw out?
Yeah, I'll recap a couple because I've got a few questions here. I might as well knock it all over in one fell swoop. First of all, I want to just scroll back here to Mr. Mackey.
Mr. Mackey.
fucking no need, mate. Right?
You know him?
I don't know what the go is, to be honest. I've got no doubt there'd be security footage of me getting kicked out of the local pub on Saturday night. So you wouldn't be the only one with it. Mrs. Tips is aware.
Have you spoken to her yet?
We had a conversation today, which was our first one for the week. Anyway, Matt Baird is asking about one at Gatton tomorrow called Pat's Girl. Pat's Girl's in race 9 tomorrow at Gatton. Comes off a run at Tara. So that's just one of our local non-tab sort of meetings around the Darling Downs here. There'll be a fair good bit of speed in this race. We've got some apprentice jockeys on horses that want to be near the speed. So anticipate a good run, some good tempo. Tricky gate from 10, and because of the good tempo, like it might take some of its dash out of it late, but it's certainly not a flukish chance just because of the map. I've got a couple ahead of it in the market that are bigger odds than it now, but you could definitely entertain something each way. I think it'll be strong enough late to be in the finish for sure. My thoughts on Fastnet Cyclone, like it's just one of those staying races. They take its turn. That was from Edward. Don't disagree. I think it's a leading chance for sure. My best, what are we doing? What do we normally do? Best, value, and lay, don't we?
Yeah, well, whatever you're happy throwing out. It doesn't have to be all of them.
Last chance to get any questions in, guys. We're about to finish.
So last week, we had a couple of units on 05 Glory at $6 who looked the winner and got run down late. It is currently $3.40. It's a lay. It could be a place lay even. It's up to 1,200 on the 7-day backup up in class. Speed drawn underneath it. Maps look a little messy. And if it has to push forward to get outside the leader, it'll be weakest late and could miss a place. Even numbers 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 and 3 could run past it late. So I think that's as strong a push as I could give for one in Brisbane on Saturday.
All right.
That's where we'll find the best value and the best lay.
Dickens, you got anything thrown out?
I just wanted to ask, like, Curls and everyone, did anyone notice? Fascinating. The Victorian stewards put out a notification amending a stewards report that King's Legacy didn't pull up with an issue and everything is sweet. The skeptic in me, the overthinker, the deep thinker in me thought, #breeders.
What was the original?
Wind issue, like key, like all bad,
Yeah. So apparently, So I don't think it's a secret, is it? I think it's that like breathing issues in racehorses are hereditary, and the last thing that they'd want to be at is a horse that's potential stallion to say publicly known that it's bad breather.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, doesn't it? Have you ever seen them change a report like that?
But I'm a massive tinfoil hat wearing skeptic, fucking flat earth. I'm not a flat earther, but I'll draw the line there. But I'm always completely skeptical for that shit. Like the controlling of the narrative in the racing industry is like fucking outstanding. New South Sydney do it the best.
Yeah, but if that was true, right? I don't think we can get in trouble saying this. If they have legitimately changed it up for being pressured by the owners because of its value, that is fraud. And ongoing, people aren't aware of this because they've changed it. I just don't know why. If a doctor thought I had the flu on Tuesday, why would they then decide on Saturday? Oh, no, I don't think. Actually, I thought about it. They didn't have the flu. Like, what the fuck? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Like, don't wind me up on this shit because I'll this show for 3 hours. I'll be talking about fucking Trump didn't have the virus. Fucking like the whole joints, we're fucked as a human race.
Oh,
There you go.
I'm not disagreeing.
I just thought it was fascinating. Like, I just thought, wow.
What the fuck? Is that the real Rob Scurry on YouTube?
Must be. You seen Biden touch the kids' footage, Curls?
I can't wait till the US election's over because it's like watching a fucking car crash in slow motion. I can't stop watching that Trump stuff.
There's some good parodies coming out with like interviews with like ads with him and like Abraham Lincoln and stuff. It's the best.
It's the best. I can't stop watching Eric Trump. Fuck me. He's dead set, honestly. I've never seen a bloke try so hard to say things to make his dad love him. I'm not
it's like anyone out there who listens to the Great Cricketer podcast. Like it's basically built upon their dad's like seeking their dad's approval and never getting it. That's what.
How did we get to this point of the conversation?
We're on this bets.
I don't know what I've done to get to this point.
Scurry should be on the show, not the fucking.
Yeah. Maybe we have to do an election special with Scurry, see what happens.
I am going to have something on Trump at $3 because if he wins and I'm not on, that could fucking end me. That could tip me over the edge.
What's your rated price, Curls?
I don't know. Like, I haven't worked it out. It's just more of a sanity bet, like just a mental health bet.
Depends on which Queensland stable Trump's been living with over the last month.
There's a lot of Trump supporters in Queensland.
Ooh.
The same people that voted for fucking Paul Lane.
Yeah.
It's the Alabama of Australia, isn't it?
Anyway.
Took my dog. Yeah. Fucking. Don't let him in, mate. Yeah. Fuck.
No, we haven't said the E word on the show either, which is quite interesting.
What's it?
The E word.
The T word, termite.
E.
Oh.
The big hill.
Oh.
Yeah.
The big hill. The mountain race.
The mountain race. Not the mountain goat race, sorry.
Someone asked me for a tip in the mountain race. I said, here's a tip. Don't bet into it.
Yeah.
Bet at Caulfield on Betfair for free commission. Anyway.
Dickens, do you have a free bet? Do you have a best bet? Anything you want to throw out?
I think further to what Curly says, despite the fact that they cancelled our contract for telling the truth, like a North Korean style, which was disgraceful by those in charge there. Like free speech should be encouraged in any sort of anywhere. What they're doing on Saturday is outstanding, and it's a really good opportunity to wager. I've already had 2 phone calls from big bettors who are looking at doing different things on Saturday, betting more. It's going to be more interesting than the racing, watching the betting on Betfair all day. Like so much might happen on Saturday that if you're interested in getting the game, the reason why we were with them at the start is because it's the truth. You should be watching their markets and you should be using punting form. But you can watch the Betfair markets all Saturday and there'll be different shit happening to normal. There'll be people trying to seed it earlier. There'll be people trying to get in and out earlier. There'll be more liquid. It's going to be fascinating. Cannot wait. They're still reptiles for sacking us for telling the truth. They have a serious integrity issue with their live feed, but they do lots and lots of great stuff at the same time. My best value can be 50 stars there in that whatever race that was, Peter. That might have been race 8, was it?
Moonga.
Best value there in the 21s. Tab's still 26 and Ned's 26. If you're quick enough, guys. Another horse I thought was huge overs. Probably shouldn't. I will. Anyway, done now. Race 6, number 7, Pinion. It's $11. The wetter, the better. The goat steers from barrier 1 doesn't have a stack of speed. So barrier 1, whilst sounds bad with it, if it's wet, it's got no speed. So the goat will get off if he wants to get off. I thought it should be a lot shorter than $11. Sydney Form, yeah, for 2s will bring it, but and California Zimbal. But I just thought it was big odds. It was huge. Both last 2 starts, it always closes well.
Rona.
I actually got a Rona test the other day. Don't have it. And best bet. I don't have one.
Okay. Good.
I want to see what the track does. Like, I'm happy suggesting a bet on those 2 as wet as it gets. I'm happy with those prices. If it's a heavy 12.
Like it. I'm going to throw out Deprive in whichever race that is at Randwick. Is it race 7?
Well, what price is that?
$2.90. I've got it marked shorter. Race 6, the Sydney Stakes.
Oh, you love it, don't you? We had a horse, Pete. It's got good tactical speed, but it's not mad leader. It's going to probably sit 1-1. That's what we wanted to see. It's drawn 6, 13 horse field. I've rung you up, said, Pete, it's flying. It's ready to win. There's a good amount of speed in this race, and they're going to have to think the rider. I can get Jamie Carr or I can get Rachel King. Who do you want?
Which state are we riding in?
Queensland.
Oh,
Ascot. We're at Ascot. Jade's injured. Don't get angry, mate. Jade's injured. Hypothetically.
Rachel King.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, Rachel King. I think without a doubt she's like the most consistent rider in Sydney, but also equally undervalued by the market. She just does the right thing, the majority of the time, which is more than can be said for a whole heap of the other cretins up there. Enough said.
Totally agree. If you couldn't get Minanet Kennedy because the ride was in Queensland, if you couldn't get Minanet Kennedy, you'd have Rachel King.
Yep. All right, guys.
We're off to that bit, that little jockey who you got. That's good. I enjoyed that.
What do you mean? You got something more out of me than a blank stare or a vacant look?
He would have told me to fuck off and then edited that out if we were doing that recorded like normal. I'm not going to bag Jamie on a show, man. I can't do it. I love it too much.
No, I think Jamie's just like the talk of the town. Everyone loves Jamie. It's quite rightly. She's killing it. But Rachel King's more consistent. There you go. I said it. Don't at me. I don't give a shit. We're going to push AFL Mail Cam Dean firing off Brownlow bets tomorrow at 12. If you're not part of it, get part of it. You'll get any prelim bets that he sends out and also for the grand final, which we didn't really talk about, but the man likes his Norm Smith bets. He'll be firing into a few first goal scorers as well, trying to find a little wrangle.
I think it's great. It's absolutely great that the bets that he spoke about sending for the Brownlow.
Yeah, because we'll be.
Well,
it's like the NFL stuff. Who was solid again?
Proper analysis.
Yeah.
Like that does it all. Like that does it.
Watch.
Perfect.
You get to enjoy shit you're going to watch anyway.
Yep.
But with much more detail and go, oh, okay, you're learning, and I love it.
Yeah. We've also got
when are you going to start doing a product, Jackson?
Do you want me to start now? Whenever.
All right, and we've also got the.
Would you bet at Bendigo on Saturday?
I wouldn't bet at Bendigo on Saturday. I've got at least 2. If the rain comes, I've got 4 likely bets.
Bossy's coming after you, Pete, when you walk around the town.
Jeez. Scary behaviour from G Boss.
I'll look from pistol there.
Yeah. First time it would have been someone twice my age trying to punch me. It would be a new experience. And he doesn't have any hair. Like, I've got a disadvantage because I've got hair he can try and pull because he's got like short reach. He'll try and grab on for anything. try and bring
Yeah,
me down to
I was
his level.
seeing The Langlands videos, mate. I'm betting on Glenn heavy.
Well, he's definitely fitter than I am because I'm not allowed to like do anything outside of these four walls, and there's so much glass here. Like, what am I meant to do?
I'm a weapon, mate.
I'm a weapon. Plus, I can hide in the grass. Good call by Bossy. We've also got the 4-pack going for like $15 off. It turns out to be $1.05 per race for Saturday. So if you want to get involved,
$1.05 per race, and the pickup for our products and the support you've shown us since Betfair turfed us for telling the truth has been really, really great and helped us sort of keep the show going. Really appreciate it. We're improving. We're winning. Really appreciate it and maintain it, please.
Yep. All right, guys. Pleasure. Thank you very much to everyone at home. Thank you. We'll catch up next week for Cox Plate Week. Got that right? Stay tuned. We'll have news about that.
Yeah, Cox Plate next weekend. Manikato and Cox Plate double header normally.
That's actually known as Sonata Cup Day. I'll have some inside mail for us on the show next Thursday. I'll have the grouse. Yeah, it's my local cup, hometown cup.
How much are you deadlifting when you're deadlifting?
I've been hanging off the deadlifts a bit. I've got a bit of a crook hamstring, so I haven't been doing a lot of deadlifts.
Well, you were doing something on Instagram.
Yeah, I've turned into one of them.
What were you doing? Was that a squat or something?
Yeah, it's a squat. A few squats, a few push presses, a few front squats.
How are the pins after that? They sore?
Yeah, my thighs burn out real quick. Quads burn out real quick. But I've gone from I don't know. I'm in weapon of mass destruction category at the minute. I'm flying.
Me and Ems did a bit of personal training once, like 2 years ago, because we were just like out of control. You know, we're like, we need to get our shit together. So we'd go. It was like across this park in Hawthorne, and it was like freezing cold. And we get through it, and I hate exercising. Just like, I'd rather play a sport than exercise. You know, play touch footy to run, not. And we'd sneak back over the park, and then we'd have a dart and a coffee. You'd be like, what's the point? Why we even bother?
That's a
I'm not real big on run. I'm not big on running. You know, I think you're only running if the cops or the stewards are chasing you. I don't really.
I've got you cornered.
I don't really see any value of running otherwise.
And on that note, until next week, catch ya.
Are we still alive?
Yeah.
Ems wasn't smoking, only me.